But when you see somebody that's walking in blessing, when you see somebody that actually is manifesting supernatural increase in their life, and they're teaching you how to do it, and they're living it themselves, could be that's your connection point.
I believe in miracles. I believe in supernatural. I believe all things are possible. I believe in God. I believe in God. I believe in God.
Well, glory to God. Welcome once again to Power of Faith. I'm Pastor Philip Derber with your Family of Faith Victory Church right here in the capital city of Frankfort, Kentucky. And just delighted to be able to share with you the truths of God's Word once again. Luke 1:37 says, with God nothing shall be impossible. That's a powerful, powerful truth. And I'm just glad to be able to share this next half hour together with you. And I just trust that things are moving forward in your life. And we have the helpline, our prayer line, that's available for you 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And, prayer starts things, prayer ends things, and everyone needs prayer from time to time. Yes, you can pray on your own, but there are times that prayer of agreement, that prayer of intercession, that prayer of whatever's necessary for your situation, to have somebody else add their faith with your faith. So that's there for you. As well, we'd like to know where you're watching. Give us a shout out. You can go to our website, faithvictorychurch.us, and go to the contact information there, and let us know where you're viewing. We're inspiring you. Inspire me. Now, we've been looking at blessed through association. And this blessing that we're talking about, we're not talking about, oh yeah, they just bless me because they make a real nice apple cake. Well, that's good. That apple cake bless you. That's wonderful. But we're talking about way more than your belly getting satisfied with Sister So-and-so's apple cake. We're talking about a spiritual force that causes everything in your life to experience increase, experience moving up in success. Proverbs 10:22 says, the blessing of the Lord, it maketh rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. Now that, folks, you can't get away from it. Christians all the time have made a cliche. I hear it said all the time, well, how you doing today? Oh, I'm blessed. And there's no sign of blessing in life other than they're on their way to heaven because they accepted Jesus. And they're not making light of that. But if God spared not his own son, Romans 8:32, how shall he not with him freely give us all things? And, we looked at Proverbs 13:20, where it says, he that walketh with the wise eventually will be, wise himself. But a companion of fools shall be destroyed. See, so it matters who you are associating with. It matters who you're hanging out with. You say, well, I just stay at home and watch TV. Yeah, well, there's your association. What are you watching? Oh, I like horror movies. Oh, so you're trapped in that. That's what you're associating yourself with. Fear, murder, all these gruesome sights. See, 1 Corinthians 15:33 says, be not deceived. Evil communications corrupt good manners. Yeah, I'm not really associating with it. That's all make-believe. Oh, really? Yeah, they didn't. That person didn't really die. They just did that and made it look like that. Yeah, but somebody watching that. You keep watching that. It will corrupt good manners. They have done studies on these individuals that have gone out and killed folk. I'm not talking about over jealousy in that instant. I don't know what come on. I'm talking about somebody that did these very gruesome murders. And when they finally got that individual to speak, their diet, what they were feeding into their eyes and ears, was that type of communication. They were watching things like that, and they were listening to music like that, and it corrupted good manners. But you and I, we want to walk in the blessing because it makes rich, and it don't add no sorrow with it. And I'm just going to be straight up with you. You're looking at one blessed man. I am blessed, and that ain't a faith statement that I'm calling it in. I'm blessed right now. Now, I'm not satisfied, and my level of being able to bless my cup running over, I'm not satisfied with. See, I think about my spiritual kids growing up. If I was to leave this planet before Jesus comes, live out my life, I want to have so much blessing in my life that I leave it to them in such a way that they're like, woo, hoo, hoo, hoo. Here we go. We're going to rock and roll for Jesus. See, well, in order to do that, I have to keep associating with the blessing that makes rich. And we've already discovered that God blesses an individual through their obedience. And then he uses that blessed individual and has people associate with that blessing so that the blessing that's on that individual gets on them. Now, that's the way the blessing works. That's why Esau and Jacob, they were fighting over it. See? Now, this blessing is a spiritual covenant with God. God will impart a blessing on your life to a degree that things happen in your life beyond your paycheck, beyond your education, beyond your ability. The blessing of the Lord, it maketh rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. Now, we looked at how Lot, Abraham's nephew, was extremely blessed while he was associated with Abraham. As Abraham went up, Lot went up. Abraham, Lot, just like this, went up just like this. And it got so much that they separated themselves. Now, if Lot had any sense, he'd have never got into strife with Abraham, and he would have kept that connection, but he didn't. He broke that association, lost everything. See? But the point being is he was blessed because of his association with Abraham. Then we looked at Isaac, how Abimelech recognized, they tried to stop Isaac, stopping up all the wells that Abraham had dug. You know, after Abraham had died, they're going to stop because Abraham was the richest man around. I mean, he had more wealth than Abimelech's entire nation. And so Abimelech's trying to put the squeeze on Isaac, but Isaac got the blessing. And in the middle of a famine, Genesis 26, God says, sow, right here. And he sowed in that land and reaped in the same year 100-fold. And that blessing just caused him to increase even greater, and the Philistines envied him. And when they began to stop up those wells, Isaac just dig another one. Hit water. What's doing that? The blessing. blessings doing that. Finally, Abimelech said, whoa, time out, guys. We can't fight this thing. Best thing we can do is associate with it. And so he comes to Isaac and says, look, it's obvious the Lord's with you, and we're going to quit all this. And we just want to associate with you, and we know that, you living in the land's blessed, and we ain't going to fight that, and the Lord has a blessing on you, and we know if we just stop all of our commotion, we get blessed because of it. Paraphrase. See? And then you look at Jacob. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Now Jacob, he goes and works for his crooked uncle Laban, and Laban's ripping him off, and for years. And in the ripping off of Jacob, Laban is flourishing. The blessing is still working, even though Jacob's being stolen from. And one day Laban realizes, after the whole thing reverses on him supernaturally, and Laban tells Jacob, he has to admit it, I've learned by experience that the Lord hath blessed me because of you. Though there was no other conclusion. Now, folks, blessed through association is not some gimmick that preachers come up with, try to get money out of it. I'm sure there's some try to use it. But when you see somebody that's walking in blessing, when you see somebody that actually is manifesting supernatural increase in their life, and they're teaching you how to do it, and they're living it themselves, could be that's your connection point. See, God has connected us with blessed ministries. And there's been ministries that we were blessed to, and then they went off the deep end. We unplugged from them. See? And don't want to go where they're going. Be not deceived. Evil communication, corrupt good manners. So we just unplugged. They went that way. We kept going straight. See? So I recognize that somebody can be blessed and then err in their way. But the truth is this. God has commanded the blessing. You go read about it in Psalms 133. As oil on top of the head of Aaron ran down his beard, down his garments, it says, there the Lord hath commanded the blessing. In other words, he commands the blessing on a particular gifting, on a particular office. And that blessing runs down and from the headship and then gets on whoever is connected to the body. But if you got an arm that's severed over here, it don't get it. It's got to connect. It's got to associate where that blessing is. And you read Psalms 133, verse 3, it says, for there the Lord commanded the blessing. But let's not stop right there. We've looked at Abraham, Lot being blessed through Abraham's association. We looked at Isaac, how Abimelech and all of his people were blessed through Isaac's blessing. Then we looked at Jacob, how Laban was blessed through Jacob's blessing. Now let's go to Joseph. Joseph. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph. This blessing just goes from generation to generation to generation to generation. And remember what I said last week, Galatians 3:13. Christ hath redeemed us from the curse of the law, being made a curse for us, for it is written, cursed is he that hangeth on a tree, so that the blessing of Abraham could come upon us. It goes on to say, so then they that are of faith are blessed with faithful Abraham. So this blessing's not just an Old Testament thing. Oh, no, 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 no. It's alive and well in the New Testament. And it makes rich in the New Testament just like it did in the Old Testament. Now, Joseph, look what happens to Joseph. Joseph is, he gets a dream from God, and he has a calling of God on his life. And this happens to him, and that happens. Brothers hate him. They throw him in a pit. They sell him into slavery. And next thing you know, Joseph is in Potiphar's house. And an Egyptian has bought him. And now he is a slave working in Potiphar's fields and everything. But the blessings on him. Good God, I'm about to get happy. The blessings on him. See, folks, you can throw somebody in a pit, but it's a blessing there. He was blessed. He didn't even realize it. He was blessed that he's going to be in Potiphar's house. He's going to be blessed that he was thrown in the king's prison. When he looks back, he's going to see how God orchestrated his steps all the way through these challenges or opposition that the enemy's trying to quench this blessing. He cannot stop the blessing. It's unstoppable. And see, that's why the devil fears you and I ever walking in the blessing. Because it just makes things happen. Yes, the law of faith, the law of seed time and harvest, you should be operating in both of them every day. But if you associate with the blessing, things will just happen to you that don't happen to, don't get mad at this, don't happen to ordinary Christians. There, I said it. Ordinary. See, you and I are supposed to be extraordinary, extraordinary. How? The blessing. The blessing. People should look at our lives and say, I tell you what, that's one blessed man. That's one blessed woman. That's one blessed family. Not because of your job. God will bless your job. He'll promote you. He'll give you to where you have your own company or whatever. I'm not, God, that's the thing about the blessing. It'll touch every area of your life, and especially in areas that you're called into. See, whatever, in areas that you may just venture into. God blesses. Now, in Joseph's case, see, over here in Genesis, let me turn over there because I want to read it. In Genesis 39, we see that Joseph, even as a slave, things started happening because of the blessing. Genesis 39, verse 1. And Joseph was brought down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh. See, that's the blessing already working. Officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, bought him of the hands of the Ishmaelites, which had brought him down there. Now watch carefully. And the Lord was with Joseph, and he was a prosperous man. Are we reading the Bible? Sure we are. He was prospering as a slave. Folks, I hope you understand something. Your current situation may look like it's in lockdown. But if you get connected to the blessing, you say, how was Joseph connected to the blessing? He was Jacob's son. Jacob, he was Jacob's favorite. He had blessed him. The blessing's on him. And here the Lord was with Joseph. He was a prosperous man, and he was in the house of his master, the Egyptian. Now watch this. Verse 3. And his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord made all that he did to prosper in his hand. Who's doing that? The Lord. How's he doing it? Through the blessing. Everything Joseph's putting his hand to is prospering. And who's getting blessed because of Joseph? Potiphar and everybody in his house. Come on, people, wake up. Wake up. The church has been in existence for 2,000 years. And yet, the teaching on the blessing, it's like we're in elementary school when the blessing is being taught. We have so missed it in this area. And then when somebody comes preaching it, it's like, well, they got some kind of motive. They're just trying to get something from me. I mean, all that. See, be not deceived. Evil communications corrupt good manners. Are we reading the Bible? I showed you Abraham, how Lot was blessed through association. Isaac, how Abimelech was blessed through association. Jacob, how Laban was blessed through association. And now Joseph, where Potiphar is being blessed through association. Now watch this. Verse 3 again. And his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord made all that he did to prosper in his hand. And Joseph found grace in his sight, and he served him. Look at this. And he made him overseer over his house, and put all that he had, he put it into his hand. Now, I'll tell you what, if you're going to be a slave, you could just been a slave out there, just shoveling out the stalls. This is the best job that anybody could have in Potiphar's house, being a slave. Because to be what he has, your clothes change, your quarters change, your meals change, everything changes with this promotion because you are now in the household. You're not in slave quarters. No. No, everything, you really, Joseph living real comfortable right here, other than he's a slave. He's living real well right here. But now watch. Verse 5. And it came to pass from the time that he made him overseer in his house. From what time? From the time that Potiphar made him overseer in his house and over all that he had. Look out. Look out. The Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake. Remember what the blessing of Abraham? I will bless them that bless you. And it came to pass from the time that he made him overseer in his house and over all that he had, that the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake. Now watch out. And the blessing of the Lord was upon all that he had in the house and in the field. Potiphar had never seen the light. I mean, everything increased. In the house, out in the field. Why? Blessed through association. And it went on, verse 6. And he left all that he had in Joseph's hand. I guess so. Don't mess with that. Let that thing run on. Let that thing go. And he left all that he had in Joseph's hand. And he knew not anything he had. Now, I tell you what, you got to be increased a whole lot to where you don't even know how much you got now. That's what the blessing did that Joseph had. That's what's happening to the one that's associated with the blessing. Now, you follow out Joseph's life, he ends up being the second in command over all Egypt. which makes Potiphar's blessing look minute in comparison to where Joseph's blessing is going. And that blessing would bless the whole entire nation. Oh my goodness. And he left all that he had in Joseph's hand. He knew not anything he had save the bread which he did eat. And Joseph was a goodly person and well favored. Well, I guess so. Folks, I hope you understand in this teaching how vital it is to be associated with a blessed individual that's carrying the blessing. See? And when you connect, how do you connect? Prayer, fasting, finances. See, that threefold cord that Jesus talked about in Matthew, I believe it's chapter 6. Prayer, fasting, offerings. Those three things. You find a blessed gift that's speaking into your life. You pray for them. You fast and intercede for them. And you sow your seed into them. And through that association, I'm blessed. I have blessed associations. I have people that associate and connect to this blessing. See? And it's just a wonderful thing watching the blessing make rich in believers' lives. Well, our time's gotten away from us. And I hope you take this and you meditate on it and be associated with the blessing some way, somehow. And if you are, get your expectors up. Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 4 says, where the word of a king is, there is power. Be a blessing.
The Power of Faith programs are available on YouTube 24/7, so you can watch from anywhere at any time. Search for Power of Faith on YouTube or go to youtube.com/Power of Faith. Subscribe and click the bell to make sure you're notified whenever new episodes are posted. If you missed the episode, or you just want to go back and watch it over and over again, the Power of Faith YouTube channel is there for you.